But I do want to start with Rafael Devers, who today went 2 for 3 with a home run, a stolen base, and made more news in the clubhouse after the game than he did on the field with his bat. And I would tell you that the news he made on the field with his bat was considerable. So listen to this. And we're trying to get the audio somehow, some way. But obviously, Devers said this in the clubhouse and not in the interview room. So I'm trying to somehow track it down. But in any case, Devers was asked by members of the media whether or not, well, let me read it to you. This is from Christopher Smith's Twitter feed, Christopher Smith of Mass Live on Twitter. Devers wasn't pleased with the Red Sox for asking him to play first base. He said he doesn't feel the Red Sox stayed true to their word. Devers said Red Sox Vice President of Baseball Operations, Craig Breslow, came to talk to him about first base after the Casas injury. Devers said it's not the right time after they told him that they just wanted him to DH. He thinks they should, quote, hit the market, close quote, for a first baseman. Quote, to all of a sudden have me to try to play another position. So from my end, it doesn't seem like a good decision. They had the conversation with me, Devers said, through translator Davison Perez. I don't think me personally it's the best decision after they asked me to play a different position and I have only 2 months of playing this position. So right now I just feel like it's not, I can't help but laugh, Jared, I'm sorry. So right now I just feel like it's not an appropriate decision by them to ask me to play another position. Go ahead. What do you got? What do you think?
There was another quote in there about him saying, like, so what? If someone in the outfield gets hurt, are they going to ask me to play the outfield next?
Yeah.
He kind of came after Breslow. He said, I don't know what his problem is with me. Like, he was a former player. He should know you can't just switch positions. Like, he came at, and he kept calling him the GM. And that's like a Cora tactic. Like, when Cora doesn't like someone, he'll be like, yeah, the third baseman, when he knows their name. And Rafael Devers is now doing this with Breslow. He's saying, well, the GM said this and the GM did that. Not a good situation, Tony. I mean, here's where I fall on this ultimately.
Okay, so start from the beginning. Should he be playing first base?
Yes, absolutely. I get why he's frustrated. I get why he's upset. They kind of jerked him around on this, where they waited until the last second. I'm sure all offseason, or at least we heard that they were like, oh, no, don't worry about the Bregman stuff. Like, those are just rumors, and you know how it is. And then they were actually going after Bregman, and then they did sign Bregman. They weren't honest with them. So there's strike one. Then you show up to spring training, and Alex Bregman is supposed to be the second baseman, right? They're like, yeah, no, we signed him to be second base, but he doesn't play second base, and he doesn't take reps over at second base. They lied about him being a second baseman once he got there. Then you come into the season, Tristan Casas blows his knee out, and you're like, Alex Cora had said something along the lines of, like, he's a DH. Like, oh, is Rafi still going to get some, like, looks and some reps over at third base? If Bregman needs a day, is Rafi going to... Nope, he's a DH. He's only going to DH. If Bregman needs a breather, we'll find someone else to do it. Rafi's just a DH. Casas blows his knee out. Hey, can you play first base? And he's like, well, no, you told me I was only a DH. You told me to put the glove away and then I'm not playing third base. I'm not playing the field anymore. I'm just a DH. So there's some nuance to this, because yes, I agree completely. Rafi and you also have to understand the Latin player culture. Like their threshold for respect and tolerance of disrespect wildly different than your all-American college kid from the U.S. It's like
very important in that culture.
Yes,
I can just to amplify your point for you. I remember Pedro Martinez saying once, when David Ortiz went over to embrace him, Ortiz made a point of putting his head
under.
Yeah, under.
Like Pedro hugs him over and Ortiz hugs him under, even though.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because it's a sign of deference.
Yes.
In any case, but yes, go ahead.
So, I've already seen some of the D3 college baseball players out there on Twitter that are like, well, if it were me, I would play any position. I want to help the team. And I get what you're saying, because if I think in most cases, you would love to hear Rafi say whatever the team needs, you know? And I think that's why it's nuanced is I get where Rafi's coming from the frustration aspect of it and the disrespect aspect of it. But if you're not playing for a contract, which he's not, he already has his $330 million. So him moving positions is not going to hurt his value. His value doesn't matter. His value is set because he has a contract for the next 11 years, whatever it is. So I think as a fan, you're sitting here thinking, you got paid. You're on this team. You're the longest tenured guy. You've won a World Series here. You have had a great relationship with the manager. Why are you be pissed? Be pissed all you want, but go play first base because this team is a game above 500 and they need you. It's not just, you were the first guy on the pecking order. If you're looking at it, it's the best available option. Devers to first base, frees up DH. You might be able to call up Roman Anthony. He can play some outfield in DH. Masataka Yoshida is just sitting there. He can't throw the base.
It gives him the most flexibility.
Absolutely. And to anyone that's like, what makes you think he can just play first base? Because he played third base in the big leagues. Hanley Ramirez played first base in the big leagues and was pretty good. We don't need him to be a Gold Glove defender. Can he be average there or hover around average? Absolutely. So that's where you kind of have to sort through all of it if you're going to talk about it.
So look, I'll say this quickly because we got a bunch of people lined up already. I would love to hear from the fans, from those of you out there as well, because again, Devers doubled down on this thing today. And Jared's right. He basically called out Craig Breslow in the process, which leads me to a separate question. I said this to Felger the other day. So, Jared, I'm going to give you the break to think about it as well as the listeners. But what I said to Felger was, I get the sense Cora's on Devers' side. And now I think it more than ever. If Devers is putting this all on Breslow, I think Cora said, I'm not asking him. I went through this. I've got a relationship with the guy. I got to deal with him every day. You ask him. So I wonder if Cora and Breslow are at odds on this thing a little bit about who had to do the dirty work. And if Breslow went and had to ask him, well, then that tells me it right there. Since when does the GM have to go down and ask? The manager usually does that with guys who are already on the team. So I'm interested in that part of the story. I'm also kind of irritated that Devers won't do it. A year ago, he sat on the picnic benches and said, ownership's not doing enough for us. Then they go out and get players, and now you won't change positions to win? So do you want to win or not? Winning requires sacrifice. I say this all the time. It requires sacrifice. That means that players have to give too. That means giving up your batting average to move a runner over, doing things like that, shortening your swing to make contact when you're a strikeout machine, whatever it is, it requires sacrifice. It would be nice if their best player did that, although you could argue, I suppose, Bregman is their best player. He just hasn't been here long enough. How about longest tenured player? Can I say that?
You can.
It'd be nice if your longest tenured player did that. Anyway, that's where we'll begin. Rafael Devers, his comments today, where the Red Sox stand overall. I know Jared has some thoughts on that as well. I think we're actually in alignment on that one too.
Wow. So that's bad news, Kevin.
Kevin, in the interim, we don't have audio of Devers denying or refusing to play first base, but can you give me an idea what it would sound like?
No. I played third.
Yep. No, I played third. That's pretty much what it is. That's what he said in spring training. So that audio hasn't changed. So if you want to hear the real audio, we'll venture to get it. In the interim, I think that will suffice. So I don't know if Cora is trying to sell everybody on it now that Devers has the routine down. He's adapted to DH. They're not going to mess with him. They're not going to F with him. But Jared, I'm interested in the dynamic of how all this sort of gets sorted out. Okay, because again, the way Cora was talking early on, saying, I'm not going to ask Devers to go play first base, he was almost defiant about it. And I started to wonder if Cora was really had just taken Devers' side on this and was afraid he was going to lose the player and really just said, I'm with him. We're going to leave him where he is. I'm not going to ask him to play first, which makes me wonder if there was some sort of discussion with Breslow and they said, well, how would you feel about talking to him about playing first base? And Devers said, I'm not doing it. Cora said, I'm not doing it. You do it. You guys want to do it, go ahead and do it. I'm not going to lose my credibility with the player. I had to talk him off the ledge to get him into play to DH for you in the first place. Now you want me to go back to him? F off. So I just wonder about the push and pull there with him and Breslow, because the fact that Breslow had to ask him to me feels out of the ordinary. I don't know if you agree or whether it's out of the ordinary at all.
I don't think it's out of the ordinary that the GM would have to get involved in a conversation like that. But I think if it comes from the GM, ultimately the conversation happens with the manager, right? Because the manager would have the better relationship with the player if the GM is more hands-off, which I don't know how often Breslow is around the team. I have no relationship with Breslow. I don't know how he operates in terms of some guys like Dombrowski. Dombrowski was in the clubhouse a lot. Like I remember talking to David Price about Dombrowski because he had him too in Detroit. He's like, I love him. He's like, if we're going good, we'll see him in the clubhouse. If we're going bad, he still shows face. I don't know how Breslow operates in that regard, but with a conversation like that, it's not so like I think without having the conversation or being a fly on the wall in the room, I think we all know it. They were anticipating it going poorly, but you still have to ask. So I think that's probably where Breslow would have been like, hey, AC, can you do it? Like, he's your boy. Like, you guys have a good relationship. And it sounds like to me what you're kind of theorizing is probably somewhere in the neighborhood of how it played out, where Alex was like, you're the one that wants him to play first base. You asked me to tell him to put the glove away, and you had me go out there and tell the world he's DHing, and he's just a DH, and he's not going to get any reps at third base. He's not going to play the field. So if this is your idea, you go talk to him.
Okay, so I will tell you, part of me doesn't know whether to love that or hate it. Because on the one hand, I'm talking about the dynamic now between Cora and Breslow. On the other hand, I feel like Breslow was thrown into this job and he's not ready for it, or wasn't ready for it when he first took it over. And, there was a learning curve there. So part of me says, hey, welcome to the job. Like, this is part of it too. Sometimes you gotta do the dirty work. You can't always pawn it off on your manager. On the other hand, I do think it's sort of the manager had a better chance of convincing him. And we're going to get to the calls here now next. But I'm going to make one prediction.
Sure.
Devers will change his mind.
It's the same thing that happened with the DH thing.
Exactly. And he may not want to do it now, when he calms down, when he mellows out, maybe even during the offseason. I don't know, whenever it is. He's going to end up playing first base, and Cora's going to talk him into it. Cora knows he's got no chance with him right now. I'm just making that prediction. Sean in Colorado. Go ahead, Sean.
Tony, Superfan Jerry, how are y'all?
Good. What do you got, Sean?
I'm excited. Good. I just wanted to talk about, obviously I was calling about the Devers thing, and you think he might come around to it in the end. My question is, if this is a defiant no, if this is no, I'm playing DH, what do you see the Red Sox doing for the rest of the season? Do you see them going and playing the market? Do you see them just riding it out with Toro and Romy, or do you see maybe utilizing one of their young guns at first base in the long run?
Okay,
so
thanks,
that's
Sean.
all I got for you.
Yep, appreciate the call. So, Jared, what's the solution then if Devers won't do it?
If Devers won't do it, Devers told you, go look outside the organization, because I don't know that Romy Gonzalez is the solution. I'm intrigued. If it's not Devers, I think the second most intriguing option for me is trying out Christian Campbell at first base and calling up Marcelo Meyer to play second base. I don't know that you're going to be able to just go and get a first baseman. Like there's not teams right now that are saying, yeah, we're out of it, so here's this really good cornerstone bat first baseman that can play good defense. Like, who is that guy? Is he out there? I don't think that person exists. So if it's not Raffy and you have to go internally, I like the idea of
Campbell.
Campbell at first, call up Meyer to play second.
Do you think there's any chance Campbell would resist?
No. He seems
not that kind of kid and has
no,
his contract.
No, very humble, just wants to play ball. I mean, when he was at Worcester, he played every position. Like it wasn't like I'm a position X. This is what I do. Don't move me. Like they put him like if you were to go to a Woo Sox game last summer, you had the opportunity to see Christian Campbell play literally any position.
So to me, that feels like an easy one. A friend of mine mentioned that to me, and I thought put Campbell at first. He's not a great second baseman anyway. Put Meyer at second, and then there you go. And then when Trevor Story bites the dust in a year or two, Because, again, his contract's up in 2 years anyway. You move Meyer to shortstop if he's ready to play there. If he's good at second, then go find a shortstop. Tom's in Quincy. Tom, what do you got, pal?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Hey, I find his comments.
Tom, sorry.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you for waiting. All right.
No problem.
I know you were there at the end of the Felger and Mazz show, so thank you for that.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I figured I'd hang out and wait. I have issues. I have many issues with what Devers had to say, to be honest. I felt when he started with that stuff in spring training, when he was all bent out of shape about moving positions to DH, and, it was a defiant no about going to DH and all that stuff. I called you guys back then. I said, this issue is going to linger, regardless if he decides to go to DH or not. The attitude is there, and it's going to become a problem. It's obviously become a problem. Now he's calling out the Breslow decision and all this crap. Here's my problem, and some of it what Jared had just said. This isn't like he's in a contract year where his value is going to be determined on how much he plays, where he plays, all that stuff. His contract is there. His $330 million is there. To someone like me, he looks like he's fat and happy. He doesn't want to be bothered. He was told to put his glove away, so he's going to sit his fat ass down and not have to put his glove back on, regardless that there are needs on this team that need to be filled, and he's the number one option to fill it. So if he's saying to the team, hey, listen, you guys told me that I don't have to worry about playing the field, then I'm going to simply not worry about playing the field. So what you guys need to do, pony up and go find a first baseman. That's the most absurd thing I've ever heard. I hate any athlete that will pull this nonsense and this pissy, bitchy attitude about, oh, no, I only do this. I'm not going here, regardless of what. It betters the team. And Mazz, as far as you said earlier, does he really want to win? Honestly, the attitude he's shown the past couple months, I hate to think that he does feel this way, but I don't think winning is the most important thing. I think the $330 million is the most important thing. So now he can sit his fat ass down and he'll sit in DH when he needs to. I hate the whole thing. I hate his comments, and this is not going to end here.
So, Tom, look, I'll tell you, a lot of people feel like you do. In the same breath, I'll tell you that since that first 5 games of the year, when he struck out 16 times in 18 at-bats or whatever the hell it was, I don't even remember the numbers now. His OPS is over 900. Mm-hmm. He's been kind of a force. And he had a little lull there where he went badly again. His OPS is 896 in those 33 games.
Not including today, though, from whatever you're looking at.
Correct, not including today.
Right.
So that's right. It went up today. Very good, Jared. Thank you. This is not including today. His on-base percentage is a career high right now. He's shown he leads the majors in walks, which for him is a big deal because there's more plate discipline there than we've ever seen before. It feels like he might be improving as a hitter, as a DH, as incredible as that is.
Which is what we expected.
Right. So there is an argument to be made for not effing with him in that spot. And there's a good dilemma there, or a good discussion there, because on the one hand, I'll tell you that what gives the team the most flexibility is him playing first base. Mm-hmm. What gives the team the best bat right now looks like him DHing. So if you're on the line, sit tight, because I want to examine that part of it when we come back. And also where the Red Sox stand. 20-19 after 39 games. Tomorrow's basically the quarter of the season, the 40th game of the year. And that used to be a major benchmark, and the Red Sox are a 500 club.